HarperAudio Australia presents Taken by Dinuka McKenzie, read by Elizabeth Brennan. To my family, Scott, Harvey, and Edie, always. The need to touch the child is overwhelming. Just to graze my finger across her cherub cheek and her soft, downy hair. She is asleep in a bassinet pram. Her little fist has wriggled itself out of the wrap and lies beside her face, a hair's breadth from her tiny, wrinkled ear. The pram sits by a park bench, alone and vulnerable, the ragged branches of a gum tree creating dappled shadows across its stroller cover. The park is deserted in the afternoon. An empty swathe of grass, green and blunted, recently shorn. Where is her mother? Anyone who wants to can take the child. Whisk her away, and no one would be the wiser. Her mother would be blamed, as she should be. Who leaves a newborn out in the open like this, without protection? A woman like that deserves everything she gets. That's what people would say. Just one more peek. A light hand on the bub's tightly wrapped form. Not enough to wake her, but enough to feel the soft rise and fall of her chest. Up and down, up and down. The sound of voices. They are returning. The woman and her boy. I whip my hand away as if burned. The baby starts to wail, my jerking movement having woken her. Too late now. I have to get away. Don't be seen. Don't get caught. Phone out. Pretend to be scrolling. Cap down over my eyes. An innocent passerby on their phone. Move away, but not too fast. Slow and steady. Breathe. In and out. In and out. 1. Thursday. Detective Sergeant Catherine Anisha Miles slammed her foot on the brakes and felt her body recoil, the seatbelt digging taut and tight into her chest. The car came to a shuddering halt, inches away from a zebra crossing. She had not seen the walker. Her body had reacted unconsciously to something her eyes had not yet fully registered. He had been right in her dead spot, directly behind the pillar dividing the windscreen from her driver's side window. A car horn beeped, and onlookers stared. Sickening heat rose through her body, and she felt lightheaded at the thought of what could have been. The pedestrian, a young man in a worn and paint-spattered hoodie and work pants that marked him as a tradie, death stared her before continuing along the crossing. She could feel the outrage of the bystanders. A mother, in immaculate office clothes, herded her rugged-up offspring away from the road and waited pointedly for the car to pass. Kate drove on, rigid at the wheel, her eyes fixed ahead, not meeting the stares of the passers-by. Stopping the car at the first opportunity, she fought a wave of nausea. Her hands shook as she gripped the wheel, fighting to regain control, goose pimples prickling her skin. Outside along the verge, silvery grey eucalyptus trees thrashed against a brisk late August wind. A cold spell bearing uncharacteristically bleak winter conditions to the north coast. A political candidate on a poster for the upcoming council election grinned inanely down at her from an electricity pylon. "You're not ready, Kate. It's too soon." Her husband's words rang in her ear as she breathed through the flood of anxiety pressing against her ribs. Inhale for 2 counts, exhale for 4, in and out, until it passes. Jeff had expressed his concern when she had first spelled out her intention of going back to work once Amy, their baby daughter, had turned 3 months. His worry still lingered, screaming its misgivings in every meaningful look, sigh, and unhappy glance he threw her way. Yes, the financial imperative was real, but he hadn't thought her serious, that she would actually go through with it. No one had. Jeff had been adamant that his work would pick up. Her father had offered to lend them money. They had all been watching her, her husband, her father, her partner, Josh Ellis, and her chief inspector, Andrew Skinner, observing and assessing, waiting for her to break. But she had pushed through anyway. It had
Sample complete. Ready to continue?